Life feels like it's just, well, constantly changing, doesn't it? And that can really stir things up, make us feel a bit uneasy.
It really can. Our brains, it's sort of like things predictable,
Yeah.
routine, but maybe we can, try looking at it differently.
How so?
Think about a tree in a big storm. All that wind, it actually forces the tree to dig its roots in deeper, grow stronger. Change can kind of do that for us too.
I like that analogy. Stronger roots. And yeah, when a big change happens, it's so easy to just feel completely lost, overwhelmed.
Definitely.
But maybe it's more like, I don't know, getting a new puzzle. It looks confusing at first, maybe frustrating.
Right, all jumbled up.
But there is that potential for figuring it out, for satisfaction, maybe even like enjoying the process. So that's what we want to dive into today, why leaning into change is so crucial and how we can actually get better at navigating it.
Exactly. And one of the biggest upsides to embracing change is that it just opens doors to completely new things.
Yeah, routine is comfortable, safe even.
It is. But the really amazing stuff, often that's just outside that comfort zone.
Okay, let's take an example. I was thinking about this story, Sarah. She had this job she liked, in a little shop, very routine, comfortable.
Okay.
Then the shop closed down. Suddenly, big upheaval for her.
Wow, yeah. That throws everything off track.
Totally. But because of that disruption, she ended up applying for a job at a much bigger store.
Okay, so forced into a new situation.
Right. And not only did she get better pay, which is, a real
The immeasurable benefit, yeah.
but she also met loads of new people, learned completely different skills she never would have otherwise. It just shows how sometimes change pushes you somewhere unexpectedly. Good.
That's a great example. It really highlights how sometimes we need that push, even if it feels unwelcome at the time, to find something better we wouldn't have looked for ourselves.
So thinking practically then, how can we actually get better at, rolling with these punches, accepting change?
Well, a really big part of it is mindset. Actively working on your mindset.
Okay.
When you're facing something new, try to consciously reframe it. Instead of dwelling on what you might be losing, force yourself to think about what you could gain.
Cognitive reframing, right? Actively shifting focus.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Even tiny shifts in how you think about it can make a surprising difference.
that makes sense. But what about the anxiety? Change is often scary.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where talking comes in. Don't underestimate just talking it through.
With friends, family.
Yeah, trusted people, getting it out there, sharing your worries. It gives you perspective, support. Sometimes just saying the anxieties out loud kind of shrinks them down.
Like using them as a sounding board helps sort out the puzzle pieces you mentioned earlier.
Precisely. And if it's a really big change, like a career shift or something, break it down.
Small steps.
Tiny steps. Like if you're thinking about a new job, maybe just updating your resume is the first step. It feels manageable, right? Much less scary than, say, quitting your current job straight away.
Yeah, okay. Build momentum.
Exactly. Small wins build confidence for the bigger leap.
So it's not just about coping with change. It sounds like change can actually be a tool for growth.
Definitely. Embracing change can actually spark problem solving. Stepping outside your normal way of doing things, it forces you to think differently, be more creative. You might discover new passions, new paths you'd never have even considered.
And it doesn't always have to be these huge life-altering things, right?
Not at all. Even tiny changes help build that adaptability muscle. Like trying a new recipe for dinner instead of the usual.
Or taking a different route to work.
Yeah. Simple things. It's about getting comfortable with the feeling of newness, even on a small scale. It trains your brain.
Okay, so zooming out then, what are the overarching benefits here? Why should we actively try to embrace change?
Well, ultimately, it builds resilience. You learn, through doing it, that you can handle uncertainty. You come out the other side.
Stronger roots, like the tree.
Exactly. It makes you more adaptable for whatever comes next. You're better equipped. And maybe the biggest thing is it fundamentally shifts how you see change. Less like a threat, more like an opportunity.
An opportunity for growth, for maybe a richer life.
A more fulfilling life, I think.
Right. So the message is, next time change pops up, big or small, maybe just pause. Take a breath.
Look for the potential upside. Remember past times you handled something new.
And then just tackle it one step at a time.
Absolutely. Because fundamentally, you really do have the strengths within you to turn these challenges into, successes.
Okay. So that leaves us, and you listening, with something to think about. What's maybe just one small change, something tiny you could choose to embrace today, just to start building that muscle for adaptability and growth?